Oh, welcome back. So, exercise 3 in this complex, 4 in all, and there's actually 5. I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to give you the reverse windmill out of the goodness of my heart after this. Why? So that you've got some extra stuff to play around with. I wouldn't want to go to a gym and have 3 or 4 exercises, so I don't think you should have. We're going to give you possibly 5 to 6. So what this is it's the press, which then gives you the complex of clean, squat and press. So I'll show you them without the weight, the easier version. You're going to pop and catch. Flare, stand tall, come back, and again, pop and catch. So what's happening here is as you pull around here, you're bracing the core, you're working back part of the body, a little bit of this shoulder girdle. And then we squat, so we're now driving with the glutes and the quads. And then we brace and we drive overhead, so there's a little bit of the serratus and the obliques working, also deltoid, big shoulder in terms of press. That's pretty much one of the only isolation exercises for kettlebells. You know, you can do, you've got shoulders, and you've got bicep, and you've got tricep, and you've got kind of traps and stuff like that. But kettlebells rarely work one muscle. Even the press is designed to add in a little bit more to the mix. So if you understand the nature of kettlebell training, it's all about getting lots of stuff done in one go and being out in 15 to 20 minutes. So with the press, now this has helped, I would say probably about 8, maybe 10 different coaches and athletes that have come to me with some kind of shoulder impingement, loss of range of motion, literally can't reach overhead or that. Often because if you consider this kind of rainbow, which would be all potential movements possible by the shoulder, which is a massively mobile joint, and therefore it sacrifices strength, as I mentioned earlier. 50 pound here, great. 50 pound here, not so good. The important thing to consider is a lot of people, particularly the guys in the gym, they're working their bench press and they're working their dumbbell press. So that rainbow of potential strength, they're strong in kind of 2 chunks of it, and pretty weak in the rest of it. Now, stuff like clubs, where you'll do maybe some of the circular things, some of these actions, some of the band work, can fill in those gaps. And I've helped rehab several shoulders that have been injured with the classic bench and the overhead stuff by adding in the kettlebell press, because instead of it being like so, as you would expect a press to be, it actually comes from the rack position, which means it hits much more shoulder than your standard dumbbell or barbell press does. So with the standard press, you'd have your weight here, and you would lift and return. But with the kettlebell, we go from a rack position. So if you watch, I kind of think of it as the corkscrew or the helter-skelter. So if you watch, my fist is facing you now. And now my fist is facing away from you. So what's actually happened is, instead of me just driving up with this, I've engaged all of that as I've pushed with rotation. So what's going on there? Instead of pressing from one fixed position, from that rack position, we squeeze out, like literally like a corkscrew. Again, that grip offset is paramount, so that as we are working, now you may put pressing in 25 minutes into a workout. If your grip's fried, you're not going to be very good at pressing if you've set the handle here and it's now wrestling you. Very easy exercise. There are ways of making this more interesting. There's two ways of cheating. You can bend, so it's kind of a push press, or you can lean excessively until you sit down, and then those are removed. So a great variation there is to remove the ability for you to make it easy and cheat a little bit. We all do now and then. I've even been guilty of that. You kind of a little bit of, you wangle it and you get that assistance. But when you're true to yourself and you really focus on the goals, you realize that cutting corners doesn't serve you. Pretty much in all walks of life, not just in the gym. So how can you then enhance that press further? You can sit on the floor, like so, feet apart, belly in rack, so there's just a couple of variations there on the press. So the press would truly be one of the only isolation exercises within the kind of the kettlebell toolbox, shall we say. Most of them are geared towards working several body parts at once, particularly the swing, the clean, definitely the snatch, the windmill. There's a huge amount of the get up, which pretty much even your hair hurts after too many of those and your teeth ache. So there's a huge amount going on. Press, there's going to be a little bit of core. You're going to brace isometrically for that kind of that assistance. You don't want to be resting on jelly. You want to be resting on something pretty strong to drive out from overhead. But it is literally mainly deltoid, and there will be a little bit of activation maybe at the serratus and the oblique, and that's about it. All that's active here is just stationary and maintaining balance. So in the next video, we're going to combine them to show you how you can have a take-home workout consisting of a clean, squat, and a press.